This is Nub, an all-in-one JavaScript toolkit that works on top of Node instead of replacing it. It replaces all of these tools that you're currently using, from the package manager, which is 5 times faster than pnpm, to the TypeScript runner that can replace TSX, and even a Node version manager. It is Bun's best features, but on top of stock Node.js, and that's probably the reason why Nub is just Bun spelled backwards. And I know JavaScript devs love to reinvent things, but this isn't just some random person's project. It's actually made by Colin, who is the creator of Zod, and he made the proof of concept for TRBC, and it even worked at Bun. So let's just dive in and take a look. So Nub is one Rust binary, and it works with Mac, Windows, and Linux, and as I showed in the intro, these are just some of the tools that it can replace. It's a file runner, a script runner, package manager, and a Node version manager. So let's go through each of these. First up, the file runner, and this alone has so many features. The file runner supports full TypeScript, not just type stripping like Node would do, so it can replace a tool like TSX or TSNode. And we can see here I have a TypeScript file that has enums in it, namespaces, as well as param properties, and that isn't something that Node can normally run. But if I simply run nub and then the file that I want to run, you can see that it runs perfectly fine, where it would fail on Node. So if I replaced nub here with Node, we can see that we get error unsupported TypeScript syntax, as it doesn't like the namespace or the enum. The file runner can also replace tools like .env, importing the environment variables automatically. It supports .env files, .env local, and also the Node environment ones, and even has automatic variable expansion. So down here we can have a variable which is made up of other environment variables. So we have the database user and the database host here. If I now run this file with nub, you can see it imports those environment variables for me, and it's made up my health check URL using the other environment variable values. We can also see that my API key doesn't actually match the one that I have in the .env here. That's because .env local is always going to take precedence, and in here I have the API key set to subscribe to BetterStack. That is something you should definitely do if you want to stay up to date with AI and developer news. Please subscribe, it really helps out. Next, I'm going to go ahead and run nub and then source/index.tsx, and we can see that everything is working here. It's my nub kitchen sink. In the code for that file, I'm using tons of features that nub file runner gives us. One of the first ones is that we can import JSON files, as well as YAML, TOML, and even text files, and it can also replace a tool like tsconfig paths. So the paths that I've set up here with @config, where I've set this up in my tsconfig, it's going to go ahead and make sure these are resolved by Node properly. It also has support for decorators, like service and sealed here. It has JSX support, and it will actually transpile this based on your tsconfig settings. And you can even use modern keywords like the using keyword for explicit resource management. In addition to all of that, it also has support for tons of modern APIs like web workers, temporal, and loads of others. It will polyfill them automatically for you on Node versions that don't support them. And it also unflags experimental Node features like local storage support. That's just scratching the surface at all of the features that the file runner supports, but I also want to mention that it's flag for flag compatible with Node. I mean, since it's just running Node in the end, it just forwards those flags. That means if your script isn't using any features that Node doesn't support, you can just switch nub for Node and get the exact same result. All of this is done, by the way, with nearly zero overhead in speed. It should be as close to Node as possible, and according to their documentation, it takes the exact same amount of time to run a nub file as it does in Node. I will admit this won't be faster than Bun, since Bun is a native runtime that replaces Node, and Nub is just built on top of Node. I actually decided to run my own benchmark on my Mac here to see which one is quicker, and if I just make these look a little bit nicer, we can see that Node was actually the quickest for me. It wasn't the exact same speed as Nub. Nub was a little bit behind, but then TSX was slower than both of them. Moving away from the file runner though, feature number 2 is the Node version manager. Gone are the days of needing NVM or FNM. In Nub, if I have a file in my project called node version, or if I define it in the NVMRC or even in the package.json, Nub is going to automatically install the required version for me from Node.js. At the moment, this project is using the latest Node 26 version. If I change this file to say something like 24, then I rerun it using Nub, it will automatically grab that Node version for me. It also has all of the usual management commands that you'd expect, so we can install Node versions, we can list the installed ones, we can uninstall Node versions, and there's even version pinning, which will write that Node version file for you. It really is as simple as that, so let's move on to our next 3 features, which is where Nub can replace pnpm and Bun. First is feature number 3, which is just the package manager. This is promising to be 5 times faster than pnpm, and I thought pnpm was already super fast. This works as you'd expect it to. Nub install installs the packages, but something quite cool here is it can actually adopt your existing lock files. So if you've used Bun or pnpm in a project before, Nub will just update those lock files instead of having one of its own. This makes it super easy to switch between them if you ever needed to, and the same goes for the pnpm compatibility. Every package management command in Nub is the exact same as pnpm, including pnpm's advanced features like workspace catalogs. It's the exact same flags, so swapping pnpm and Nub should just work. And if you're using npm, Bun, or yarn, the configuration options of those package managers should be picked up as well. When it comes to that claim about speed, that benchmarks place Nub as the fastest at warm frozen installs, taking 346 milliseconds to install 1,168 packages, and on my machine I actually did a test of 14 direct dependencies that resolved to 212 unique packages, and the benchmark proves that Nub is the fastest. Nub installed my packages in 136 milliseconds, Bun was second at 239 milliseconds, and pnpm and npm actually took over a second. So that speed claim seems to be true on my machine with some seriously impressive speeds. The package manager also takes the best bits of pnpm when it comes to security. It has a minimum release age default of 24 hours, and it won't run build scripts unless approved, so you should be safe from most Shai-Hulud attacks. The next great part of a package manager is the actual package running, which is feature number 4, and the headline here is that it's 19 times faster than nubx. The nubx command actually resolves to the binary folder within Node modules, so in Rust it actually executes the binaries directly, so there's no Node process in the wrapper, which also means that it works with any package manager since it's just going direct to those Node modules. As with most of the nub commands, it's actually flag for flag compatible with pnpm exec, including the dlx commands as well. Running a benchmark on my Mac, Nub was actually the quickest at 169 milliseconds to run ES-Build versus pnpm at 423 milliseconds. So again, it seems that speed claim has some truth to it. The final feature you need in a package manager is the script runner, and apparently this one is 24 times faster than pnpm run, and it has lifecycle hooks, npm environment variables, and argument forwarding. When you use npm or pnpm, these actually launch Node.js programs, loading each package manager's JavaScript each time, whereas Nub just uses its Rust binary with no startup processes. My local benchmarks again showed that Nub run was actually the quickest, but not by as large as a margin as we saw on that documentation. It's also worth noting, and it's the 4th time I'm saying this in this video, this command is flag for flag compatible with pnpm, meaning it also supports pnpm's monorepo features. One thing I actually want to shout out for those last 3 features is that Nub didn't reinvent the wheel. It actually uses Ob under the hood, which is a package manager written by JDX, who's also the creator of Mies. He actually made the package manager embeddable by other libraries, and Colin worked with him to use it in Nub, so it's not just stolen work. Those are the main headline features of Nub then, but there is still so much more to explore, such as the drop-in replacement GitHub action, which replaces the official setup Node one. It really has just been made to make everything around Node much easier. But here's the question I'm left asking myself: would I actually use this? For me, my answer is yes in certain scenarios. I'll be honest, I'm a pretty heavy Bun user, and I've not run into any compatibility issues in my development. Maybe with the new Rust port, I might move away, but even then I would use pnpm for everything else, and I must admit I've never noticed that pnpm is too slow. I also use Mies to manage my Node version, so I don't see myself needing that side of things, but I can see myself wanting the file runner that replaces TSX. The ultimate use case that I see for myself though is when I use new throwaway virtual machines. Sometimes I spin these up really quickly to do some testing, and if I just want to get started with Node, I think Nub is one of the most complete packages and the quickest and easiest way to do so. So it's mostly just me being stuck in my ways that's stopping me from using Nub daily, but I do want to know what you use for your package manager, and if you use something like Nub, maybe you're looking to switch from Bun now that it's rewritten in Rust, let me know in the comments down below, or either subscribe. As always, see you in the next one.